Welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie and
I'm her husband, Glenn.
My husband, Glenn. That's him.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that bell notification, so you don't miss any of our updates. Also, there will be a spoiler at the end of this video when we get to talk about one of the last couples. So make sure you watch all the way until the end.
All right. Married at First Sight, Season 10, Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. All right. We got the rest of the weddings.
Yeah. I was excited. I still think they could have put all 5 weddings into the 2-hour episode last week.
Oh, no. Suspense builder.
It's a suspense builder. But nonetheless, we get the final 2 weddings this week. And we start off with Micahel and Meka.
Yes, Micahel and Meka.
You know, as some say, and Meka was still talking about her dress, and she didn't want it, but her bridesmaids did what bridesmaids supposed to do. They talked her down and calmed her down, so she was getting ready to meet Micahel. We saw Micahel talk about how he's the first one in his family to be married. He's excited. I like Micahel. He's very articulate. He knows what he wants. He's precise. I like this dude. Don't know him, but I like him. Right.
I like the fact that one of his groomsmen, and I think they showed this at the end of the last episode, not trying to get you teary or anything, but what would your grandma think? How would your grandma feel? And he was like, I think she'd be happy about it. And he explains again that his aunt adopted him. He's adopted into his own family. Mm-hmm. His aunt, he calls her mom. His cousin, he calls sister. His mother passed away. Mm-hmm. And Mama Auntie comes in, and she's excited for Micahel. I think their exchange was just so sweet, you know.
Yeah, it was like a true mother and son exchange. She's happy for him. She's, you know, for those who out there, he's kind of breaking the generational curse, so he's doing something that no one in his family has done, like being the first to go to college or the first to have kids. So he's being the first to be male, African American male, to be married in his family. It is a big deal. Yeah. Whether he did it on Married at First Sight or he did it the traditional way, it is a big deal for Micahel. And I think he's taking it seriously. He doesn't take it lightly. And I think it's a big deal for Meka too. When she saw Micahel, she was like, oh, hey.
Yeah, and he was like, hey.
Hey, they was excited, you know, and even the interaction between the families, you saw that there was some kind of connection that was there with them. So their ceremony was nice and sweet.
It was.
It was. Even exchanging their names when he said, hey, I'm Micahel. And he's like, hey, I'm Meka. And so they started having a little dialogue and conversation, and even in the midst of that, which I thought was good. Yeah,
and I hate to pick favorites already, but I feel like I have 2, but I like the M&M connection. It's something about those double letters, like Keith and Christine. It's something about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got a good feeling about them.
I do too, because if you look at when you even go to the reception, and this is one thing I liked about this episode, they spent a lot of time on the reception. They hadn't seen that in the past, where they spent seeing the couples interact with their friends and in-laws and future in-laws, and we saw the couples really interact with family members and friends, which I thought was great. And they had conversation when they was at dinner, even when Meka was talking about having kids. He like, I want to wait 2 years, but he had a plan. Why? He said, I want to get to know you first. I want to get to know you in this year. And then after we get to know each other, then we can work on our careers, because he wants to be a principal. And she was like, well, and you could tell that she really want a baby right now.
Right.
She's ready. And then they found out other thing was there's a 6-year age gap.
Yes.
He's 31, she's 25, which is like.
He was really surprised by that.
He was surprised. I don't think it makes a difference when you're that age. 6 years, 31, 25, you're still in the kind of same ballpark. He may be a little bit older than her, but that can help her maybe mature a little more. We don't know her maturity level right now. And so I think that works well with him being older and she's being a little bit younger than him.
I was going to say, I think it works in her advantage. Mm-hmm. Maybe someone her age might be a little more immature relationship-wise, because he's mature in his life and probably in the romantic area too. I think he'll be more patient with her. Because he's older, he'll take his time with her. I feel like, so I like it. I like it. He was very surprised. He was like, man, I thought you were older than that. And he says, it's not a problem.
Right.
But wow, I'm surprised.
But even the way that he was calming her down when she was a little antsy, and the way that he talked to her and the way that he spoke showed that he really cared. I mean, even in the midst of his vows, basically, I think he said, you know, he wants this to be his only wedding, and he want to love her forever, today, tomorrow, and forever. So I think even with that, he's going into it with a great mindset, and she's going into it with a great mindset. So there hasn't been any waves with this couple yet. To me, there's no red flags. I know we saw the preview at the end, and we see some things, but to me, it's not a major red flag.
Right. Yeah, I feel like there's a smooth sailing.
Not smooth sailing. I think there's going to be some bumps in the road.
No, I'm saying their wedding.
Oh, yeah,
their wedding and their reception was pretty smooth sailing, except unless you want to talk about it. So when he met with her friend,
yeah,
you know, he did get that question.
Yeah.
You think you're going to have sex on the wedding night or soon? He was like, hey, I'm following her lead. Mm-hmm. If she with it, it is what it is. I'm not forcing it. Yeah, it's gonna be what it is.
And he said that even in the first episode, I believe. He said that, you know, he didn't want to be part of the Me Too movement. That it
right.
would, you know, jokingly, but he said that was going to be her lead. And I think going into this experiment, that's how you got to go into it. If it happens, it happens. I'm not going to force it. If it's natural attraction there, because we've seen in some past couples when they get into the bed real quickly, even though it's your wedding night, things begin to explode.
Yeah.
And, you know, so.
But also, there's obvious attraction. I feel like in this episode with these, I guess kind of overall, but especially with these two couples, you could tell there was an attraction there. He asked at the wedding, may I kiss you?
Right.
Sure. And they had some more pecks. They had some more pecks. Oh yeah, during the pictures. Oh wow.
He was dipping. He like, can you dip? He was ready to go, but he was. You could see that he worked for. He thought about this thing. Like, look, could I kiss you? It's fine if I kiss you. If it's fine if we do this. He was a gentleman about the situation, and he's going into it right because he knows it's uncomfortable. Instead of being uncomfortable, he's being a gentleman and say, you know what? Do you mind? He's very conscious, in which that leads to being a good husband.
I agree. I agree.
Then we had the other couple, Mindy
and Zach.
Mr.
Hair
himself, Mindy and Zach. Mindy. We know Mindy. If you follow Mindy's story, have been watching this show, if this is your first time, Mindy has a lot of issues. Her family didn't come to her wedding.
They did.
One of her sisters passed away.
Most of her family.
Most of her family.
One of her sisters is there.
Mm-hmm. One of her sisters was there. Mindy has, her dad doesn't agree, so he didn't want to be a part. Even Zach, when he sat there, he like, where's the family at? Or people were talking.
Well, his family noticed it first. They were like, where's her family? Her family's not over there. And they even tossed the idea, well, maybe somebody passed away. Mm-hmm. And the other person said, well, then why would they have chairs there?
Right.
So they're like, what's going on? And like you said, Zach noticed it too.
Yeah, and and that's one thing, going into this, it's not like a Matt situation where he just didn't even tell his family.
Right.
Matt didn't even tell his family from season 9. Check out our review on that.
We never saw them.
We never saw Matt's family, but check out our review on that. Go ahead and click the playlist. And as we talked about Matt's family never showing up to the wedding, they never showed up. So her situation was a little bit different. She was sad, but her sister made her feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And even Zach made her feel comfortable. I mean, she was excited to see Zach.
Before we get to that though, isn't that the point where before they go into the wedding, that the dad did send a message, take some pictures. Mm-hmm. It was before the wedding, right? Or was it the reception? Yes, to take some pictures, send me some pictures. So he's more open about it. Like he's like, I don't know why you're going that way, but I still want to be a support, even if I'm not there.
Even if I'm not.
So that kind of lightened her load too.
Yeah, really lightened the load there. So it gave her a sense of security, and she was like, hey, I'm gonna go through this. I'm gonna go ahead and get it done. And when she saw Zach and Zach saw her, their eyes both lit up.
Yeah.
And he was happy. He was like, oh, she's pretty. And he was like, oh,
And she was like, he's hot.
He's handsome. Like, you can tell he works out. And then she was really excited of how Zach was and what he looked. And they got to conversating after the wedding, and she knew Zach's hair was great and high maintenance, and he loved her. And he did something that had never been done, that I've never seen.
He loved her. Oh, you jumping the gun.
Oh, well, I'm going to say liked her, loved her, whatever you want to case may be. But he got down on the knee.
Oh, yeah.
And smooth charmer he is, and asked her to marry him. I thought it was pretty sweet because no one else had ever done it.
Listen. I was like, okay, Zach.
Yeah.
way to break the mold. And Mr. Harris, romantic too.
He's Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
I think he thought about it. He was like, I'm gonna do it like this. He really, I think between Michael and Zach, they really tried to make their brides feel comfortable. And he really tried to make Mindy feel comfortable. And it's awkward, but will you marry me? And she's like, yes, of course I will. I'm here.
I'm here, right? I'm here. We on the show. We got cameras here. There's people here. Family here. We got food. So, of course I will. I'm not going to say no now, but which I thought was good, you know. And he could have been like, she could have been like, no, I seen you, nah, dog, I ain't going through this. But nonetheless, but they had a conversation too, and they talked about how, you know, how they both are very active and how they both like sports and how they like things, and how, you know, Zach is very particular, how you like things in order and things of that nature. And so I thought that was good for their relationship and good for them. And then Mindy has a meeting in the bathroom.
Oh, that was so sweet.
With Jessica. So we know that Mindy and Jessica got married on the same day. So
yeah, we because that was something we talked about. How many of them got married on the same day in the same place? Obviously, everybody's getting married in the same place. But what we found out is that one wedding was upstairs and the other was downstairs. And they were so excited to see each other. Oh, what's your husband's name? Austin. What's your husband? Zach. Oh, and what's he like? I like him. Oh, he's hot. Oh my gosh, Zach is so, and Austin's so. I thought it was really cute for them to meet up because as they've done in the last few seasons, they've all gone bachelorette party. They've met, the women have met before and the men have met before. So I think that calmed both of their nerves too. Like, oh, she's here. I'm here.
And we're having a good reception. Let's go. And they had a chance to interact with each other and know that again, Social Security, they were alone.
Right.
They wasn't alone. And I thought that was pretty good there. You know, also when you talking to, then this is what I really enjoyed. The friends broke out. Then we had questions.
Yeah.
And I want to start with Dante, because Dante, the dad of Katie.
Okay.
He sat there and he asked her husband, like, yo, what's your plan? What do you want to basically do with my daughter? He's like, because remember, Dante didn't feel comfortable with the situation at first.
Right, yeah, he was kind of iffy.
But as he started talking, he realized with Derek that they're you know what, I actually started liking this guy. This guy is saying all the right things, and I'm thinking, this may be good for my daughter. I may not agree, but it may be good for my daughter. So I enjoyed that interaction between them two.
And what he said was, he was like, you know, I don't know him all that well, but just from the conversations we've had, I could see myself maybe have, outside of the experiment, this being the type of guy that I would want for my daughter.
Yeah.
Everybody's just putting everybody at ease.
Not everybody, because not everybody.
I'm talking about them.
Not everybody, because we have Dante, who is Katie's father. Then we have Katie's friends. Now I'm gonna say there was a lot of stuff flowing going in this wedding. Man. A lot of alcohol was flowing and a lot of alcohol was talking. Now, if you drink, that's fine. Keep your drunk friends to yourself.
Cause her friends were off the chain. Her friends was off the chain.
They grilling my man by the fire, talking about my girl likes fire sex.
Well, no, she said she needs that fire. What he's like, what's fire? You know, she needs that fire. You gotta do this. And it was a lot of bleeps. Homegirl was letting them drop, and he's like, oh, wow.
In his outtakes, he was laughing on his segments. He laughed at me.
I mean, he looked, and he's like, I can't believe she asked me this.
Yeah, like, you know, my girl likes her kitty cat.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta keep it PG.
Hey.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, you go ahead and watch.
Cannibalism.
You like cannibalism. But you watched that yourself. But she asked a lot. For me, I was like, yo, do people really tell their friends all their business like that? What you like and what you don't like? Because she knew a lot about Katie that I was like, you shouldn't know that.
Apparently, some friends are a whole lot more freer than others.
I wasn't sharing all that with my friends.
She knew a lot, and she was like, hey, you had to step your game up. I don't know what you think.
You had to bring it.
What's getting ready to happen, but
she likes that fire.
This what my friend needed. And he was like, wow, this is almost too much at one time. Wow.
It wasn't so much because it helps him, because we saw at the end, or a preview, that him and Katie said they consummated in marriage.
Yeah, he said they did a thing.
They did a thing that night. So whatever her conversation was and his conversation was, when we saw the clip at the end, they both were smiling. So it was happening. Now we know.
Yeah, I would like to think it's not just because the friend said so. Obviously, you know.
Maybe there was an attraction there. They was doing a lot of kissing.
It's obviously an attraction. You know? I think you could tell all of the couples are attracted to each other. Yeah. Even Brandon and Taylor, she curved him before, but she kissed him willingly a couple times. You know, as we look at their reception. And
speaking of friends, we had Taylor and Austin. Austin. And Jessica, and Austin got grilled by Jessica's friends. Yeah. It was like, you know, this is how she is, this is what she likes, this is what she needs to do, this is what you need to do, and when she talks this way, this is what she means. So they were really involved with him, and I'm like, to me, that's good because you're getting some insight. Right. And the insight you get because you don't want to go into it blind, so now you're getting some insight. Yeah. And what's getting ready to take place. And I believe I got it mixed up, that was Zach. He was telling about the insight, the way that she would like to be talked to. Oh yeah. Mindy's friends talk to Zach. She needs somebody that's gonna be straightforward to her, say what you mean and mean what you say. And I noticed that my husband had to go back and watch it, and I was like, Zach said he's terrible at that. He was like, did he? Yeah, he said I'm terrible at that. So. It's a learning and growing process. He's gonna have to. Each one of them are gonna have to step out of their comfort zone, and he's gonna have to be upfront and honest with her. Well, that's the only way to be in a relationship, though. I mean, whether you just met a person, or not, to be up and honest. Not necessarily like you have to be blunt, like my man Brandon. But there's ways to do it to be like where you have, or what's to do AJ from season 8. But there's ways to be honest and be blunt. It's like I think we learned in our relationship, it's about tone, pitch, and voice.
Right, and I think that's what he was saying. It's like, I could be, I don't think he was saying he doesn't know how to be honest, but he was like, you know, I'm going to have to dummy proof whatever I say. Yeah. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts, because our friend said she's an overthinker. Mm-hmm. You know, what did he mean? What did he say? And just be like, I like your hair, period. Right. I like your hair.
Yeah, and
no overthinking.
No overthinking. It's just, and be, like I said, tone, pitch, and voice, how you say it. How your body language is when you say it, the emotion you're in when you say it. Please don't send text messages out there because text messages can be received in many different ways. But nonetheless, it's not marriage advice, but I'm just saying many can be misinterpreted. Interpreted. Sorry. We go into Austin, but Austin thing was with his wife, Jessica, was she likes simple things. Mm-hmm. He said he know how to cook chicken. Oh, he like meal prep, and she like simple things.
Her twin was like,
yeah, do the simple things in life. If she had a hard day at work, have dinner, whether you bought it or whether you made it. Just have dinner there, or make sure the clothes picked up. Just the simple things in life. Right. He was giving her the insight. Oh, she's not really hard, but she's a simple person. She likes the small things, in which, like I said, getting to know the person the first night or within a few hours. That's some very significant intel that you get because now you know how to operate before y'all even get into a place where it's just you guys. Right. And so I think that was good. So now he knows, you know what, open the door for her. Make sure you say goodnight first, or make sure you pull her covers back before you hop in the bed. So he could have been doing he got insight to like, this is what I need to do before when we get into space together.
Well, the impression I get from Austin is that he's probably that kind of person anyway. Mm-hmm. That's the impression I'm getting from him. He's a mama's boy. He used to probably catering to his mom, and his mom catering to him. So I feel like he would do those nice little sweet things. But yeah, it was good, and like I said, her twin got a really good feel of him, and she's happy about it. She's like, okay, I'm liking Austin.
Yeah, she's liking Austin, and she likes Austin, and Austin still, yeah, I'm a mama's boy. He doesn't shy away from the fact that he's a mama boy, that he likes family, and so we'll see, we'll see how that plays a little bit later into his relationship and into their relationship. And you know, so then we saw the reception, people were dancing, we saw the dancing, we saw everybody's cake, and you like the cupcake cake.
Oh, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Who was that?
Can't remember who it was. It wasn't Brandon Taylor because he stuck his hand in the cake.
No, oh my gosh.
He tried to smush his face.
Oh, Brandon.
We'll get there in a minute. But anyway, it was one of the couples who had a cupcake.
Yeah, they each had their own cup. I think think, you know what? I think it was Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Austin and Jessica, because then he had the regular one tier, and when he cut it, it kind of fell. I think it fell on the table. And she was like, 5-second rule. We're getting ready to eat this cake.
But I always thought it was funny with who picks the cake out? Does the female pick the cake out?
See, that's what we were wondering. It's one person's cake. I can't remember who it was, but their cake, I think it was Zach and Mindy. Theirs almost looked red velvet to me. I'm curious who
Because I
picks
just remember
that
our
out.
wedding. You just pick, other weddings I've been to where people know where they make a big thing of picking the cake out. The wife wants a certain type of cake or it's cake. So I guess that's on the questionnaire. I don't know. But it was interesting to see when you look at that part of the wedding that, okay, who picked the cake out? Who did this, And so how did they know what type of cake they like? And as I mentioned, Brandon and Taylor, Brandon was a little bit better as the reception went along. Now, I don't know. Still nervous. I don't know if that's because the alcohol was flowing, because he did take a lot of drinks. He took a lot of drinks, but he, like I said, stuck his hand into the cake and tried to smush it in Taylor's face. She like, eat off your hand, but because of the pressure of everybody that was there, she did it.
I'm going to say, it probably was some of the pressure, but also she was like, hey, everything's spontaneous. I don't know this guy. I married a stranger. I wouldn't normally eat cake out of somebody's hand, but hey. I'm going to roll with it.
I'm gonna roll with it.
And he was real silly about it. Just the way he snatched. I was just like, I told my husband, I don't know. It's just something about Brandon that don't set right with me. I don't know what it is. Just like you said, just the drinks flowing, and then also maybe his I don't want to say his
quirkiness,
anxiety issues, and it's like he's overcompensating for his nervousness. I don't know.
But with that being said, this is the spoiler alert. So if you don't want to hit a spoiler, you might want to fast forward a little bit in the video. But the spoiler alert is it came out yesterday before the episode that on January 2nd, according to People Magazine, that Taylor and Brandon has already got an annulment, and he applied for it on January the 2nd.
Wow.
A date, the show started January the 1st. On January 2nd, he applied for divorce. I don't know if he didn't like what he saw, whatever the case may be, but they officially have applied for divorce according to multiple sources. And, you just didn't see eye to eye. And we saw some things in the clips leading up to the preview of the season that they're going to have some explosive. Reading about them, their relationship is up and down. Up and down. And I guess he was like, I'm done with it. I don't want to deal with it. He probably couldn't handle the pressure. Don't know. But it'd be interesting to see this play out in the season.
Right.
And we'd be able to talk about it and knowing the end result of their situation. But also a friend closer to the situations also mentioned in that article on reality TV that 1 week they hate each other, next week they love each other. 1 week they hate each other, next week they love each other. So it's a up and down relationship. So by the time we get to the season finale or get to the reunion, they might be back together. We never know. So it'd be good to see how this plays out with these two guys.
So another Elizabeth and Jamie. Let's hope it's not as volatile as Elizabeth and Jamie, because they were ugly. Because speaking of clips, so we saw in the clip Katie
and Derek
kind of going at it. Like theirs was hot and heavy.
Hot and heavy. He used the B word.
Yeah, and she cussed at him, and so it's gonna be interesting to see.
This season will be very explosive.
Yeah,
a very explosive season. But
we went to the clips, and you did your spoiler, but we kind of skipped the going into the honeymoon suite.
Yeah,
we skipped that.
So
going to the
you got the spoiler. So now let's get back to the show. Going to the honeymoon suite, we didn't see any pajamas like Deanna. We didn't see any flannels.
No.
But we saw everybody have their own pajamas on. We saw
everybody helped their wives get out their dresses.
Yes, and it was nice. And then Mindy, when she saw Zach take his shirt off, she was like, "Ooh."
But then he put a t-shirt on.
Then he put a t-shirt on
to go to sleep.
And we saw some couples cuddle up, and they saw Micah and Michael actually kiss.
Yeah, and Micah said, I pictured tonight that we would spend all night sitting up talking and getting to know each other, but she was like, I'm tired.
I'm tired. So it was good to see how the couples interacted. Also reading some things that, and we really try not to do too many spoilers, but reading on Brandon and Taylor. Taylor's mentioned on reality TV, and we'll put the link in the description below of the articles, that on their wedding night, Brandon left to get something to eat without her. And then when she woke up, he was cuddling beside her. So her wedding night is not what it portrayed to be on camera.
Yeah, we will see the next episode. But overall, I think, as they settled in for the night, all the couples got changed. And, everybody kind of cuddled up. They didn't look like they were too far apart, but they was cuddled up with each other. And I thought that was sweet.
And I thought these 2-hour episodes were going to lose my interest.
Nah.
But I'm kind of, the 2 hours giving more insight when, like I said, the reception and things like that. Last week dragged on a little bit, be honest. I think they could have put all 5 weddings. But this week caught my excitement, but especially with the receptions and how they interacted with families. And we'll be interested to see how it goes next week, because next week should be them leaving to go for their honeymoon.
Yeah, it's the wake up from wedding night.
Wake up for wedding night and then ready for the honeymoon. So we'll see how that goes. At least hopefully no one gets detained this year.
Oh, please.
I'm not just kidding. Just kidding. Hey, we thank you for joining us. Continue to comment below. Continue to interact with us. We'll definitely get back with you on all the comments in the comment sections. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, the bell notification. Let us know who your favorite couple is so far. Who do you think is going to make it? Who's not going to make it? And make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you share with your friends and other groups. We just in love talking about Married at First Sight.
Yes. And that's it.
Yeah, you're not going to say anything else?
What you want me to say?
You usually say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Talk to you later.